We continue to follow breaking news on this Friday. A plane has touched down along I-4. Sergeant Montez, for folks just joining us now as they're getting home on their Friday night, can you kind of take us back to the beginning to how this all unfolded when FHP got the call? No one was charged after a crash that killed a homeless woman in Daytona Beach this morning, despite the driver leaving the scene. A UCF legend stopped by practice today and how he's helping to fire up the night. The suspect is now dead inside the home where it happened of an apparent suicide. Investigators spent the night looking for clues along Fruitwood Court. WESH's Matt LaPoli is there live. And Matt, witnesses told deputies that this was just a brutal scene to watch. And I'm Meredith McDonough. We are in the final stages of the countdown to the SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch at Kennedy Space Center. As we watch the countdown, let's bring in WESH 2 space expert Dan Billow. A damaging hailstorm hit Alabama this evening. Drivers reported golf ball size hail near Huntsville. Tomorrow, that same system brings a severe threat of flash flooding and damaging winds to central Florida. Meteorologist Kyle Gravlin joining us now. So, Kyle, what can we expect tomorrow with all this?
So it is.
The Category 2 storm made its trek towards central Florida the overnight hours as the winds howled outdoors and our community prayed for their safety and to be spared from all of this. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi joining us now. Tone, I know that you were out talking to the folks that were listening to us in the overnight hours, and I can only imagine what they had to say to you when they saw you in person. Welcome back to our continuous coverage of Irma's aftermath. This is chopper video of the flooding that happened in the Orlo Vista neighborhood in Orange County. And this was so compelling in the overnight hours. About 150 people were rescued from this location. Families, children, Jim, National Guard, including Orange County Fire Rescue. And it was quite a scene for these folks. Gail, before you go, I'd like to ask, what was more unnerving for you, to be in that Winter Springs neighborhood when the sirens were going with that tornado warning, or to be in these heavy winds right now? A Tampa police officer who was shot early this morning while serving a warrant has been released from the hospital. I'm gonna run the other way. We'll be running out of Halloween Horror Nights.
I have a few teenagers that are ready to go to that.
I'm more Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. That's more my style. Just an awful scene playing out here. We're going to continue to follow the latest updates. Again, not releasing the numbers of the victims who did not survive or those who did survive and are injured. Tonight, the two leading candidates, the Republican race for Florida governor, go head-to-head in their first debate. Gail Pascal-Brown has been following this case from the very beginning and joins us live now. Gail.
Yeah, the jury deliberated for about
Looks as though we just lost Gail there, but again, we want to tell you that Daryl Avant, oh, we just had her back. If we can get her, we'll take her. We do have our producer telling us, so let's check back in with Gail. Gail?
Okay, here we go.
Breaking right now, jurors have just reached a verdict in the trial of a father accused of beating his 5-year-old son to death in 2013. The jury started deliberating this morning around 10 a.m. and a short time ago came out to say that they had a question. Now they have a verdict. WESH's Gail Pascal-Brown is in the courtroom and will let you know the decision as soon as it's announced. New details at 4 on an early morning shooting in Orange County. Deputies say that a 19-year-old was shot in the shoulder. And back to that breaking news that we've been following. Jurors have just reached a verdict in the trial of a father accused of beating his 5-year-old son to death in 2013. Darrell Avant Sr. has just entered the courtroom once again. The jury began deliberating this morning around 10 a.m. He is accused of first-degree murder in the death of his son, Darrell Avant Jr. Now, the state says that the boy died of blunt force trauma and had numerous injuries all over his body. Now, this incident happened December 11th, 2013. We're going to keep an eye on what's happening inside of the courtroom. Stay with us for this breaking news. The medical examiner had reported earlier this week that there was more than 200 bruises found on the child's body. Now, attorneys were saying that he did call 911, the father did, when this incident happened, but that he took too long. Now, the child got in trouble at school. Apparently, he kicked a PE teacher. So then when he got home later that day, his father was upset with him and said that he made him do push-ups and squats as punishment. We're going to have much more from inside the courtroom. WESH 2's Gail Pascal-Brown is there. Stay with us right here on WESH 2. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi joining us now. Tony, lots of lightning to talk about the last few days and also just these storms. Saturday, Toy Story Land opens at Disney's Hollywood Studios. From the rides to characters, the new land has got a lot to offer. WESH's Amanda Ober joins us live now from Toy Story Land. And Amanda, you are getting a behind-the-scenes look. Tell us what it's all about. Amanda, you are the envy of the newsroom today. Everybody wanted that assignment.
Okay, not a bad gig at all. I like that little celebratory dance she had going too.
Slinky Dog looks like a good roller coaster. Fun times, Amanda. Thanks so much. And it's always amazing to look back when you see situations like this and you see the outpouring of just love and support in response to just such horror and tragedy. That's one thing that I think that I've seen throughout this community. I mean, it's our city beautiful. This is our home. And to see the people come out, those lines that are willing to donate from young kids to adults to parents, it's just really impressive to see the outpouring. And I think Commissioner Patty Sheehan, she just said it so well earlier today, just how this, of course, affects the gay community. It happened at that nightclub, but this affects everyone. This affects all of us. This is our city that we love dearly. They're joining us now live. Several updates coming out of this latest news conference. Just hearing from an ATF agent there saying that the gunman Omar Mateen did purchase legally a handgun and a long gun. And also what the FBI agent Ron Harper said, very interesting, that this man Omar Mateen was investigated in 2013, also investigated in 2014. There's going to be a website set up. It's called cityoforlando.net/victims. What they're going to do is they're going to put the names of the victims on this website after the next of kin have been notified. This will be a database for families and friends to go to so they can find out what's happening with their loved ones and if they are in fact victims of just this tragic mass shooting, the largest in the nation, happening here right in Orlando. He's been on the FBI most wanted list since last week. Today, the additional $25,000 reward with information leading to his arrest with the U.S. Marshals list. But just the fact, too, interesting that that picture was released today, the potential tip that he had received that his appearance may have changed. Several questions still unanswered, and that's what we want to know, exactly how they found out about Markeith Lloyd. And we know that they cast a pretty wide net in searching for him since December, and everything was really ramped up after the shooting death of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. The tweet came out around 7 o'clock from OPD saying that he was captured, that we have him. It sounds as though that they wanted to really hone in on potentially the women in his life, an ex-girlfriend that was brought in last week, a niece of his also that was brought in for questioning last week, and then a person that he worked with at a local restaurant. Pretty much that it was his boss named Zargi Mayan, who, according to investigators, had changed his story a few times, but saying that he pretty much provided him with some money and some food, free food, to feed him pretty much while the search was going on after the murder of Sade Dixon.
West 2 News starts now with breaking news.
Breaking news, development denied. A county rejects a proposal that would have put thousands of places to live on undeveloped land. Good evening, I'm Meredith McDonough. The good news tonight, no one was seriously hurt. West 2's Kelly Rippin has the new details and explains why neighbors say that the intersection is a problem. They are being called predator priests. A Pennsylvania grand jury investigation has found Catholic priests in that state abused at least 1,000 children. That report revealed more than 300 priests manufactured child pornography on diocese property and then used whips and other violence on their victims. That same group of priests gave boys they favored gold cross necklaces, which the report says was a signal to other predators that the children were targets for more abuse.
Priests were raping little boys and girls, and the men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all.
Some priests accused of the abuse have died, and because of the statute of limitations, only a few may still face prosecution. New tonight, a grand jury has indicted an Orange City man for the murder of his neighbor. Matthew Barber is accused of stabbing Hilda Bailey to death in her apartment in the Orange City flats last month. Barber lived a few doors down from the woman. Investigators say that he took off in Bailey's car and was arrested in Virginia on unrelated charges. While he was there, investigators say that he said something that led police to Bailey's apartment. Barber is being held without bond. A corrections officer is arrested accused of downloading child pornography. 40-year-old Tony Daniel Halawadi worked for the Florida Department of Corrections since 2016. He has since been fired. Agents got a tip that he was downloading the material, so they searched his home and allegedly found the pornography. He was then booked into the Orange County Jail, where he is being held without bond. A shooting caught on surveillance as a man opens fire in Daytona Beach with an assault rifle. The victim is in the car pulling into the parking lot of the Bethune Village Market last Wednesday. Police say you then see the armed man who was waiting inside inside, running out, opening fire, shooting multiple rounds at the vehicle. The victim, 25-year-old Kelvin Holt, was hit twice but survived. Police identified the suspect as Ronald Denson. He remains on the run tonight. Police say 2 men in Titusville beat up a couple of people during a home invasion and then left an important piece of evidence behind that then led to their arrests. Police say that Dylan Robinson and Marquise Cook burst into the apartment Sunday night carrying guns. One person was pistol whipped and the other was repeatedly kicked in the face. Police say that while the two were stealing items from the apartment, one of them put his phone down and forgot it. The phone even had the man's picture on the home screen. New tonight, all of Puerto Rico has power for the first time since Hurricane Maria. The storm last October caused the longest blackout in U.S. history. The remote Ponce community was the last one to be reconnected to the grid. A power company spokesperson says that some individual homes do not have power because owners have to make repairs.
Still ahead tonight, a major change for one of Central Florida's most recognizable medical centers.
Why Florida Hospital will soon be a thing of the past. Plus, too many shops and not enough spots. Thanks for watching. We hope you join us again tomorrow night.
Buddy.
Victoria Clemens and her son Malachi look like any new mother and son at bedtime. But Malachi will not go to sleep in his nursery. He's actually never been in his own home. At 6 weeks old, Malachi has spent all of his nights in the NICU at Nemours Children's Hospital. He, like his mother, is trying to beat an addiction to prescription drugs.
I know it's my fault. And I tell my husband all the time, he's like, it's not your fault. I'm like, it is though. If I didn't start using drugs when I was 18, my son wouldn't be going through this. He shouldn't be going through it that young.
Victoria was in college. She tried some pain pills. Experimenting led to a serious addiction.
I've relapsed more than 5 times going to treatments. I've been in and out of detoxes, residential programs. I've tried all different kinds of things.
Pregnancy actually put Victoria on the road to recovery. Her daughter Bella, now almost 2, gave Victoria a new purpose. She's been beating her addiction ever since, more than 2 years now. Then, while using methadone as part of her treatment plan, Victoria and her husband found out they were again expecting. Malachi was born addicted to the methadone, helping his mother stay sober.
A regular newborn baby not addicted to something doesn't shake and, sneeze and yawn excessively, cry like that, high-pitched cries, because they're uncomfortable. They're in pain.
Not even a day old, Malachi was taken to Nemours NICU, where they have a program and staff dedicated to treating the growing number of babies born addicted to prescription or illicit drugs.
Based on the maternal history, we expected symptoms, and once they presented, we were ready because he's already here, so we started him on morphine.
The Nemours team is helping to detox Malachi. He gets morphine every 3 hours to break his little body's need for the methadone. Victoria spends every night in the NICU with him, desperate for the time to bond with her little boy.
Stay doing good so you can come home. Yeah, your mommy wants you home.
Do you think you'll ever get over the shame or the guilt of being an addict?
Probably not. It'll always be deep down. I mean, it's gotten better, but it'll still always be deep down.
Sue Hartley's favorite day is Tuesday. She spends it rocking, singing, humming. Sometimes it brings this grandmother to tears.
Because every baby should have love.
Sue was part of the Cuddle program at Nemours Children's Hospital. It pairs volunteers with the most vulnerable infants in the NICU, babies born addicted to drugs.
They hum and you sing and you get them nice and relaxed. And they need that sleep and nutrition, and sleep is so important for them, their growth and development.
Sue is rocking baby Malachi, whom we met with his mother Victoria. In recovery, Victoria became pregnant while using methadone as part of her treatment for prescription drug addiction. But the very thing helping Victoria get healthy made her baby extremely sick. At Nemours since birth, Malachi is detoxing. He has neonatal abstinence syndrome, and Malachi is part of a frightening statistic. Every 25 minutes, a baby is born addicted to opioids. Tricia Romsberg is a neonatal nurse practitioner at Nemours.
I would say anywhere between 1 and 6 babies specifically admitted for the diagnosis of NAS at any given time in our unit.
In the last 5 years, Florida has seen a 34% increase in the number of babies born addicted. It's why Nemours has a team now dedicated to these fragile little ones. Tremors, seizures, irritable and inconsolable. To fight the symptoms, babies are swaddled, held tightly, given special formula to ease discomfort, and the rooms are kept dim and quiet. But because they're in withdrawal, they must also have morphine.
The nurses are excellent with the babies, and they're at the bedside 24/7, and the babies require a lot of patience, and the families require a lot of patience, and we all work really hard to meet those demands.
Physical and occupational therapy, and tummy time. It's all part of the treatment plan these special infants go through at Nemours. And it's why special volunteers are needed to help these babies have a shot at a healthy future.
You know, I love doing it and helping give the baby love, and it's an honor to rock another mother's baby and them allow us to do this.